What up, guys? It's me, Kret. We're back again with another episode of Magic Rising. I also have my lovely cast, Proxy, Wolfpack, Dandy, and Starcount. How you guys doing today?
Doing really well.
Sweet.
A
Good.
wonderful Wednesday morning or evening, depending on if you're in Europe. So where did we leave off last time? It's been about 2 weeks. Not in-game, of course, out of game. It's
Right.
probably
On the-
been about 5 minutes in-game.
On the really annoying cliffhanger that I've been holding on for 2 weeks, like what the fuck just happened?
Good.
Because we were all fighting the two dudes. The one that didn't have a face that was all destroyed and that was still going, and the guy with the tattoos. And the other guys were channeling something. I don't remember. Yeah, there in the park. They were channeling something. We have no idea what. And then there was a massive light because patch nothing. Massive light, and then that's where we left off.
Right, yeah,
I fought a bear in somebody's mind.
Yeah, you did fight a bear in somebody's mind. So
Big
yeah, there was
stick.
this big,
Oh, yeah.
big sort of three-way brawl, and then something happened, and that's where we
Menage a
left
brawl.
off. I think we could go back though to and think through the last session a little bit, and we did this at the end of the first session as well, and talk about a little bit about Destiny. So. Over the course of the second session, did anyone's character change in any way? Like, did anyone's character advance through their own little subplot? I don't think that really happened, but...
I don't think so. No, not yet. I think we're still on the what's going on here kind of phase.
Yeah. Okay, and then did we advance the plot at all? Like, did we learn anything more about... I believe the project was investigating magic in New York.
Yeah, I don't think so.
we know that there's likely a second group because they're dressed differently and they attacked the first group. So we know there's more than one group involved in this.
Sure, more than one group.
That could be very useful at some point.
Yeah, that there's some kind of war going on,
Okay.
like sort of underworld war.
Yeah, so we've got more than one group, and we've got conflict.
We know they both don't like us.
Well, to be fair, I threw a rock at one of them, and the guys
did
that
throw
joined, and the guys that joined us after didn't seem to like anybody. So we're not really sure on allegiances, I think.
So maybe the first group were really friendly and could have helped us solve this entire thing, but someone had to throw a rock at
Exactly.
them.
Thanks, Proxy.
Great teamwork,
That's what I
everybody. Alright,
I'm making the story interesting.
Okay.
alright,
I'll more
anything else,
like
maybe?
second episode.
Anything else that we could say we've learned about magic in New York?
There's more than like I don't know. Depends on the characters, I suppose. I don't know how much each of the characters knew about magic in New York. Like I'm guessing we can say that at least some of the characters learned that there's a lot more magic, like more powerful magic than they expected.
Okay. Yeah, there's like some sort of power structure, but you don't really know what it is yet.
There's definitely like an underground scene of it, so to speak.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's doing arrows?
Hmm?
Someone's doing arrows on the map.
I did not realize that showed for you guys.
Yep.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, so, I think that is about it for Project. So,
Yeah, I think.
4 points in the next bubble of the Hudson River kidnappings. But let's resume with the story. So, when we left off, there was a three-way fight. You guys were dealing with some sort of like brutish, hulking, faceless guy. Wolfpack was fighting a bear inside someone's mind. There
With a stick.
There was a
With a
dude
stick.
on one of the cement structures who was doing something involving animals. And then on the far
that
side,
dude.
there was someone throwing magic at the group of robed guys. And that was just like a little light show out of the corner of your vision.
Okay, so what happened with the light? Like, there was a massive flash.
Yeah, so there's a big flash, and all of you are very disoriented. Like when you manage to look directly at a flashbang in CS:GO,
Yeah.
and you just it actually disorients you in real life, like that sort of thing.
Or, a flashbang in real life, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a flashbang in real life if you've experienced that. I'm trying to be relatable here. I don't know that everyone has. Either
You
way,
haven't?
no, I don't live in that part of the United States. So either way, you're very disoriented, and
Everybody, or just us? Like, are the
everyone.
other dudes? Okay.
Oh well, I mean, you don't know. You're not them.
Okay.
So eventually, well, actually, first of all, is there anyone who would respond to that? Like, is there any character who would act immediately upon being disoriented in such a way?
Well, my character, part of it is that he's a survivor.
Mhm.
But, would he try to, go for cover or something, I suppose?
I mean, the problem is you don't really know where cover is.
Exactly. So,
So, I mean, maybe if he would have a knee-jerk response, but so basically, I'm reaching towards a rule in the game system where players can always act, no matter
Yeah.
what, right? So your character can have all of his limbs cut off. As a player, you can still make an action. Now, that action is probably very restricted, but you can do it. Maybe it could
only
be
a flesh wound.
yeah, maybe it could be trying to recover from a wound or whatever, trying to attack someone with their mouth. But players can always act. If your character is unconscious and tied to a table with a laser slowly coming at them, the player can act to try and make their character recover. So I don't think this is a situation where anyone would want to act, but that's
guess
just an
just try to
important
shake it
rule
off.
to
But that's everybody.
to keep a hold of. So
Okay.
you guys are blinded, and after what feels like an uncomfortably long period of time, you sort of lose track of time a little bit, right? You're like, oh, this can't be more than 20 seconds, and then it feels like 3 minutes, and then you're like, okay, so it's a few minutes, and then it feels like half an hour. And eventually you do start to see again, and you find yourself in a large hall with hanging chandeliers, lit candles on them, not electric candles, pictures on the walls, wood paneling, and at the end of the hall there's a great fireplace that is lit. Sitting in a chair in front of a fireplace is a thin man wearing a little slightly archaic formal wear, right? Like it's a suit, but it doesn't look like a modern suit, and he's just sort
Like
of
it's
looking
the
at you.
1700s.
Yeah. I mean, not completely 1700s. It looks like someone went to a tailor and was like, "Make me a 1700 suit today," and he was like,
Okay.
Sure." Right? So it's got an archaic flair to it, but it's still a relatively modern suit. On the floor below you, you see a circle inscribed into the wood floor, with magical symbols and stuff that you probably don't recognize, and all of you are just standing in this room.
Yeah, I don't like the look of this.
Yeah, well, let's
Um,
not throw rocks yet, okay?
There are no rocks.
There are no rocks. Yeah.
There are chairs.
Can I sort of try to push through the circle, so to speak, see if there's any kind of barrier?
Yeah, so you're just sort of walking towards him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Can I
You're
sense
just
anything?
able to walk towards him.
Can I sense anything? I mean, other than the fact that he's there.
No.
Can I sense the fact that he's there?
I mean, you don't think he's not there.
I know I can see him, but can I, with the ability to push my mind out and sense consciousnesses, can I sense that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Jacob like, all right, you have a better idea. Go right ahead.
I think we need to try to talk to this guy first.
I'll try to
Talking might
talk
be a
to
nice
him,
change of pace.
Yeah. So let's try to talk to him.
You try to talk to him.
Yeah. Just
All right. Hey, dipshit!
no. Like call out responds.
Does Dio actually say that?
Yeah, you
All right.
say it anyway.
He like lifts up his hand and like makes a little circle in the air and then points at you, and your tongue just sort of like feels like it's completely swollen. And you just like can't really talk.
About time.
Can I lunge at him?
You're across the room.
Theo, please.
Okay. I'm looking at Jacob like,
I'll call out.
do something or I will.
I'll call out. What do you want with us? Who are you? Why are we here? Where are we?
He stands up and makes another circle with his hand, and like just sort of almost falling out of it is like a cane that lands on the floor, and then he grabs and starts walking towards you. He doesn't look like he needs to walk with a cane, but he is anyway. And he's definitely resting his weight on it as well. Even though he's not like walking with a limp or anything like that. And he stops about 10 feet away from you and does sort of like a very slight upper body bow, right? Like he's not bowing to you because he knows that he's better than you, but he is greeting you with a bow.
Okay.
He says, "Welcome to my manor. I am..." Fuck, what did I name this guy? I am Julian Young.
That's a hard thing for him to say.
Welcome to my manor. I am Julian Young.
How did we get here?
He points at the circle in the ground.
I'm sort of gesturing toward him. Generically, like I want to ask something.
He just like sort of lifts his hand up and goes like this, and you can talk again.
Right. Why did we get here? I think it's a better question.
Well, I figured you would have a fair amount of trouble finishing off the person you were fighting. So, and you seem a little confused about what's going on. I can tell you're just a group of solitaries, so welcome to New York. This is the home of the Order of Magi, and I can tell that none of you have any formal training.
What the hell is the Order
What
of
are you
Magi?
talking about? Yeah.
The Order of Magi's blessing? I thought they got that out of the game yet.
Is that Magi's Blessing or Magi's Soul Stealer, by the way, that you got based on?
Anyway, what the hell is the Order of the Magi?
Yeah, moving on. Never mind.
He sort of like smiles, and he's like, "Yup, knew it." We're an ancient order of mages dedicated to the protection and exploration of magic, and since you haven't heard of us, that tells me a lot about you.
Alright. Do you have anything to do with what's been happening recently?
Of course, it's my job to protect magic and what's been happening recently is, you could say, going against that goal.
So you didn't do it.
No. And
Who are the people in... Go ahead, sorry.
thanks to my apprentices, you weren't able to interrupt my scrying ritual either. But you also encountered that group of ruffians. Those are chaos mages. They're chaotes. And yeah, at first we thought you were just a group of hooligans and maybe even some weakling chaotes yourselves, but being able to hold your ground against a berserker like that is fairly impressive.
So what happens now?
What happens now is I have to ask you a few questions. Most importantly, how did you come to discover the ley line at that memorial? Mages of your caliber should not be able to sense the Earth's ley lines to that level of
Trade you a question. I'll answer that if you answer what you found with the scrying. We're looking for people.
You're trying to get to the bottom of this too. Well, before I tell you that, I need to know how did you get started on your journey? I don't want to say who sent you, because I know nobody sent you. But who has allowed you, given you the tools to understand what is going on?
I think we'll keep that particular detail to ourselves for now. There's no reason, we have no reason so far to trust you.
Alright, well, let me extend an olive branch then, if you insist. And, he makes another circle with his hand, and the magic circle on the ground underneath you lights up. And your vision just glows blank for a little bit. Until eventually, you see again you're sort of taken back to the memorial at night, and now you're seeing it from his perspective. You see the apprentices in front of you defending against Dio, I believe, who was like jumping in the air and like throwing a fireball.
Yes.
And you look up, you see the fireball coming, a few words come out of your mouth, and your eyes roll, and the fireball just like, it's like coming in a straight line down, and then it just curves and goes straight down into the ground, into the circle, and erupting up vertically is this plume of smoke and soot and flame. Your eyes focus directly into it, and in it you see a face, but more importantly, you see a level of power a level of magical power that you did not know was possible. It's sort of like, it's like the feeling of knowing that you cannot know something. Right? Like,
It would be sort of like staring at a god, basically.
it's something like that, yeah. Or like when you see those pictures of the universe, right, and how far things are away from each other, you're like, I cannot actually comprehend this. I just know it's fucking huge, right?
Yeah.
Your mind categorizes it as something so big that you cannot comprehend it. Yeah. So you see that, and then your vision fades back to the normal world, and you're back in the hall.
Yeah, alright. That was trippy. That's what you saw?
Yeah.
I sort of telepathically asked the rest of the crew, should we tell him the name? Not like he can do anything with it. Like, just the first name.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I'm down.
He's given us information. Let's give him some.
Yeah. Okay, what's
The
his
hell's
name?
that guy's name? I forget.
All right. You say the name.
Tabernacle.
Yeah. You say the name Jason, and
Jason, yeah.
as you say it, his last name falls out of your mouths. Like, you're just gonna say Jason. You know you're just gonna say Jason, and then you say Jason Tabernacle, and you're like, why did I say Jason Tabernacle? You don't really understand. It just sort of happens, and this is the first time that you've seen Julian's composure break. He is, like, visibly shocked. He recovers very quickly, though. So it was only a slight break, like maybe an eyebrow, maybe a facial twitch, but you know that, like, you actually told him something that he did not expect. He says,
What do you know about him?
I haven't heard of a Jason Tabernacle.
Bullshit.
For once, I agree with Theo.
I think if we're going to have anything to do to help each other, I think we better tell each other the truth. You gave us information, we gave you information, and now you've lied to us. I think we should change the way this is going now.
I do realize that we're bargaining with someone way stronger than us, but it is in my nature in that sense.
Yeah, no, he smiles and he's like, yeah. I know of Jason. I've never met him myself. Circumstances hasn't smiled on me or maybe frowned in that sort of way, but he's a career meddler, you wish to speak, and someone I'm surprised is so interested in what is happening.
What do you know about Jason Tabernacle?
What do you know about Jason Tabernacle?
That he sent us out on this. That's it.
That's it? You'd
We
be...
know we were looking for this.
It is not my place to tell you about Jason. That's up to him. I cannot say more.
Fine.
At this point, can I take? I'm gonna take out the maps that I still have with me, right? We didn't lose
Yeah.
anything. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna show him the map and tell, okay, what does this mean to you?
He just sort of, like, takes a step and he's, like, suddenly right in front of you. And he just leans forward with his upper body and, examines the map. You sort of, like, blink a little bit and it looks like he's got a finger out and is reading it, but, like, with his finger, but his hands are both behind his back and you're kind of confused. And he says, this is a very fine artifact. A gift from Jason, I suppose. Yes, this is, this map will tell you almost everything you need it to. Well, it won't tell you where we are now, but it'll tell you almost everything else.
Well, it doesn't tell us where to go now. Have any ideas?
Ah.
Have any ideas where we can make sense of what the fuck is happening? Because I don't. I'm looking at the rest of the team. Do you guys have any idea?
My only question is, what now? You brought us here, obviously, for some reason. What now?
I brought you here because it's rare to find people who can stand up to Chaos the way you did. They're a dangerous kind. And I want to tell you a little bit about them and about us. See, we at the Order are dedicated to the pursuit of research and deeper understanding of magic. We accrue power through knowledge. Chaots do not believe that that is the correct way. Magic has one rule at its core. If it works, it's true. We accept what happens. the rule of the normal world is the opposite. If it's true, it works, but that's not how it is here. The problem is that chaots take this to the most dangerous degree. They exploit it. They make things work that should not be true, and they gather their power not through knowledge or restraint or control, but simply by taking it. They're a very dangerous kind, and I would say the natural enemy to all other forms of magic. They stand to gain a lot from what is happening at the moment. Whereas
So you saying they're behind it?
No. They're not smart enough to be behind this, no.
Dio, are you sure you don't know these people? They sound a lot like you.
I was thinking the same thing, but I wasn't going to say it out loud.
I just sort of casually go like
So,
that.
they do sound a lot like Dio. Is this something that Dio has encountered before?
I would guess that he found people sort of like that, but never really made any connection between them. Like, he might have found a couple of magic users before that sort of had that kind of personality, so to speak, but never connected them in any way.
Yeah, never like a group of them. Or anything.
Yeah, exactly, like one or two.
Organized.
Hmm.
Sure. Okay.
So you said all other forms of magic. Are there other groups outside yours and theirs?
Well, there are solitaries like you, people who practice and learn on their own, and recently there's been another group called the Order of the Reed, and it's they who are behind what is happening right now. He sort of like looks up and says, I believe you've encountered one of their own, and dispose of him.
Yeah, that would have been nice to question, wouldn't it? I know, sort of looking at the rest of the team, sort of like as a douchebag, like.
I was getting there.
Yeah. So we have all we know so far is the 3 murders.
Kid,
We don't know
we
that they're
don't know
murders.
that they died. Yeah.
Well, yeah, 3 kidnappings. Sorry, I forgot since last week.
That's fine.
If you want us to get to the bottom of whatever the fuck this is, give us something to go on.
More importantly, what do you want from us? You brought us here because we're in the middle of this thing, and you said we stand out. But what do you want from us? You brought us here for a reason other than the fact that we stood out. You want something.
Well, as the master of the Order of Magi, it is my job to protect you as you are magic users. And you clearly did not know who we were, or you would not have meddled in our affairs. So I needed to enlighten you to our goals. If you insist on helping, and that seems like a fair thing to do given the presence of Jason in your affairs, then I merely wish to guide you in the right direction. Now, tell me, who have you been investigating in terms of these kidnaps? Who has gone missing?
I don't remember the names. You guys have the names.
I don't keep names.
Right, I actually lost my cheat sheet with the names.
Not merely their names, but who were they?
Right, there was
There's a programmer.
It was Daniel Peterson, the software guy.
There was a software guy. There was a
There's
student,
also-
wasn't it?
There's like it was Ghost Kid,
The
wasn't it?
Goth guy. Goth dude.
Yeah, there was a Goth student.
We don't know the
There was someone else who we didn't get any info on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
that's-
don't know the third person.
Yeah, we don't have no idea on the third person.
His eyebrow raises and he says, well, tell me more about the circumstances of this third person's disappearance.
It was an alley. There was a van. Cameras went fuzzy. He disappeared.
Yep.
Who was there before the disappearance?
2 police officers
And a detective.
and somebody walking on the street.
And a detective.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, detective.
He sort of scratches his chin and says, "The 3 people you were talking about. Andrew Cook, a young man working as a bank teller. He had domain over luck. He was a solitary, and his ability to almost subconsciously have the best circumstances in his life was actually a very powerful form of magic. He was someone that we were considering training, but he could
Didn't
never
do him much
control his
good.
own power. The second man, Daniel Patterson, he had a powerful similar to, and he looks at Jacob, similar to your own. He could tap into the minds of the people around them and read their minds on a massive scale. He used it to his own gain. He was actually dangerously similar to one of the Chaots, but did not have a power that they were interested in. But this third person is the one that interests me.
The one without a name?
She has a name. Her name is Sophia Harris. She was a detective in the NYPD. She was, in fact, one of their most powerful magisters. And that she has gone missing is something that I find very worrying.
So she was magical too.
Yeah.
You told us about the other's powers. What was hers?
He says, truthfully, I don't know. I merely know that she had power, and she was very important to police operations within the city.
Was she aware of it?
Yes.
Of her own power?
Yeah. As was, no. He laughs a little bit. He says, well, you guys know the police force has magisters on their payroll as well, right?
No, we
Of
do.
course.
How else would you keep the peace?
Of course we know that.
Yeah.
Ask him about your lady friend, Albatross. If she happens to be
which
a
one?
magister.
There was 2 police officers that were girls.
Right, ask about any of them if they're magisters. The one that was at the second scene, more importantly, but might as well ask both.
I have no idea what her name was. I don't care about the
Oh my
names
God.
so much. That's kind of the way Albatross rolls.
That kind of guy, exactly.
I mean,
That's very useful. Moving on. Wait, give me a second. I just need to check something on Albatross, because I'm fairly certain. Yeah, you were the guy spazzing out during the fight, thanks.
yes. Yes,
Very
I-
useful.
yeah, I am.
Alright, so we have... They abducted someone with psychic powers, and the power of luck. Does this tell anyone anything? I have no earthly idea. I'm gonna asking what's Julian? I gotta write his name or I'll forget.
Yeah.
Julian, is there anything big happening, like regardless of these new people, of the new players, or is this something completely engendered by the new guys? Like some sort of, I don't know, collision of worlds or some shit like that.
The disciples of Reed are creating this situation, and it is up to the other players of the game to I guess take advantage of it or work around it. Either way, no.
So
This
it's a game.
No, I've just been alive for too long, and I see everything as a game.
That immersion factor, though.
Exactly. All right. Any ideas where we go from here? Like to the rest of the guys?
Well, we know more about the first kidnapping now, right?
Yeah, we have a name.
Yeah, so we can check that out a bit.
We need to be careful though, because the cops are already on us. Because Dio decided to light them on fire.
He lit their car on fire, not them.
You want
It'd be nice if
semantics?
Theo didn't get into a fight with before we met at some point. That'd be good. To actually talk
I
to
mean, he
someone.
didn't fight this guy. Dia wanted to, but he didn't.
Technically, you did already.
Why? We fought his
Oh,
friends.
Well, whatever.
Plus,
Details. Okay, so we have Julian. Where do we go from here?
We haven't actually. Did we actually ever address the question of what do you want from us? What do you want us to do? Other than the fact that you wanted to bring us here, why? What do you want from us?
I simply want you to realize that the Order of Magi are not your enemy, and continue with whatever it is Jason has you doing. It is not my place to meddle in his affairs.
Do you know anything more about the Reed guys?
What the
They're-
disciples of Reed?
They're fairly
Yeah.
new to. They're a fairly new presence on the map of New York City. We don't know much about them, but we know that they draw all their power from a single source, from one place, and
Which place?
that I do not know.
I'm gonna say it's probably a read.
From reading, yeah.
Yes, they read books.
I'm sorry, you have like this massive power that we're looking at right now. You teleported us here, you made all like this crying, whatever, and you can't tell where this giant source of power is coming from? Like,
Ah.
not even an idea?
It's too large even for me to comprehend.
Oh, that's great. Do you have any idea what we could ask? Nicely or otherwise.
I feel like there's something blaringly obvious that we're missing.
Yeah, I
Jason,
know.
if he would answer, but
Rip. Jason, please.
You never say you won't tell us anything about Jason.
No, I
Ah.
mean, he's saying to ask Jason.
Hmm.
Is Jason your enemy?
No, I am lucky that he is not.
Really?
What in the world is this?
Yo,
Thanks.
So back Jumbo
Anyway.
Boys.
Can you help us at all, other than information?
Oh, was anyone wounded in the fight?
No.
Are you sure?
I think a
Okay,
few
one
people
person
had
was.
minor wounds, but
Yeah, which would have cleaned up by today.
Well, no, because it's been only 5
No.
minutes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right, that's right, that's right.
We didn't get a
we
new.
just had a
I think I have a
2-week
wound.
pause.
Yeah. Okay. He He
Yes?
says yes. There's. I can do a minor working to refresh the mind of body, refresh your minds and body. And he on the floor, and like 3 robed men walk in carrying different like boxes, finely wrought boxes of like wood that are like carved with all these different things, and they open in front of them, and he like takes these different materials out of them and tools and stuff, and he ends up with a mortar and pestle, and he's like slowly grinding it.
What are you doing?
I said I was going to perform a minor working, and that's what I am doing.
Okay.
He
I just sort of.
reaches his hands into the mortar and pestle and sort of like wipes his finger on the bottom of it and says, "Give me your hand."
Can I sort of push Feng forward first?
That's what I was thinking the same thing.
Why am I being influenced?
He just
Because
sort
you're the
of like
potion guy.
he just sort of like grabs your hand and sort of like quickly with a finger just draws a circle with an intricate pattern in it, which then fades into your skin and like sort of disappears. Almost like watching like when someone like draws something on your hand in marker and then like it fades out over the course of like 6 days. It's like watching that in Fast Forward. Like it just fades into your skin and disappears, and you regenerate all points of will and any wounds that you may have gotten.
I sort of, yeah. I guess everybody else does it, like, give him his hand.
Yeah, I mean, unless anybody declines.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd recommend doing it.
I do it.
Alright.
Okay. Yeah, he does it to everyone. Jacob, this actually makes you kind of nervous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before or after?
Before.
Is it part of his personality or just something
Part,
he feels?
part of my personality is I'll act despite doubt, so I do it anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you regenerate any wounds and health that you might have taken.
Alright. So I guess we should probably talk to, what's his face? I keep
Jason.
forgetting his name. Jason, there you go, Tabernacle, there you go.
But before we leave, can we ask Julian any idea how to get in touch with Jason?
Ask him what?
How to get the best way to get in contact with Jason?
He just shakes his head and he says, "I don't know."
Put us back in. Can you put us back in the bar? Like, I show him in the map where we're talking about the bar where we started all of this.
He just sort of points to like a door.
Yeah, thanks. Be seeing you. I just sort of walk out without asking anything else.
Okay, you walk outside. Before you were standing in a room. Dio is no longer in the room.
Dio's gone.
Are you coming? Sort of shouting back into the room. Are you just gonna stand there, literally?
Let's go.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, Julian just sort of like turns around and sits down in his chair again, and you guys filter out of the door. You find yourself out on the streets in the financial district. Behind you, as you like step out of the door, you're stepping out of like this exquisite manor. Yeah, manor is like the best word. Like it's a sprawling building with like fine architecture, and then the door closes and it's a skyscraper. And there's like people walking in and out and like doing business things.
And nobody notices.
Yeah, you're just like a bunch of dudes on a New York street. Someone like has to walk around you and he like shoves your shoulder. Not Dio's shoulder. He shoves someone else's shoulder.
Good call
For
there.
barbecue.
Well,
Right.
should we head to the bar?
Yep. I could use a cold one right now.
I
I guess we're heading to the bar then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You let's see. So you guys are in the financial district, and so are you guys taking a cab or are you walking?
How far is it? I don't know anything about New York.
It's quite a few blocks. You probably want to take a cab.
Let's get an Uber.
All right, you get
Fuck
an
the
Uber.
cabs.
You guys get an Uber, and
Okay.
yeah, the Uber driver like pulls up after 10 minutes, and it's like this guy with like sort of like a country accent, and he's like, "Hop in."
Hop in. I sort of can I gently not gently sort of like push my way into the front seat. Sort of like
Yeah.
push back.
Does anyone stop him?
Nope.
I don't like sitting in the front.
From
Not
the
worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
Get in the car.
Cool. So you guys get in the car. The driver, who quickly informs you his name is Elijah, begins to talk to you about how he's, you're so lucky to have him as your Uber driver, and he's one of the fastest drivers in the city. And to his credit, he is a fairly fast driver. He's able to get to your location pretty fast, but not fast enough to be incredibly annoyed by how much of a prick this guy is.
Oh, sounds like Dio. And
He
him
gives
should-
he gives all of you his business card, like, as you leave. It says, like, Elijah Bell, plumbing and Uber. He's also
Plumbing and
incredibly
Ubers.
well dressed for, like, an Uber driver.
I mean, hey, I've seen taxi drivers in Armani before. Okay.
Good money in taxi driving, apparently.
That's right.
Alright, I'm actually gonna keep the card because we might need a fast driver at some point. I'm gonna do something rash and completely
Sure.
unfiltered. So
Get away from
Dio
Dio.
thought ahead. Wow.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think
Dio
I have.
thought? Not
I
just
just-
ahead, he thought?
I think in the long and very short term, it's the medium term that's difficult. Right?
All right.
Anyway.
If I throw this rock, what will happen in 1 second?
What?
Let's go in and sit at the table.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you go down and you sit at the table in the nightclub.
Fang, it's your job to get us food. Use your power.
Yeah, pick the best. Pick the best stuff. I'll
Yeah,
cry
I go and
if there's
get
too
us-
many people.
Can
Yeah,
you get that?
someone come with me.
Yeah, there's no
Sorry.
food in the nightclub because it's a nightclub, but
Nightclub.
there's a
Nightclubs
deli
can serve
next
snacks.
door. I think you can actually see it here. But there's like a corner deli just like a few feet away from the door, and it's like 2 a.m. but like somehow there's like someone in there, and you're like, "Hey, I'm hungry," and they like open the door and make you some food.
All right.
And so he just like gives you out food to go. I don't know what you order from a deli, but
Whatever Fang bought.
Sandwiches.
Whatever
whatever.
Fang got for us.
All
all right,
Really
yeah,
nice.
yeah. You get like one of those like sub platters, and yeah, you just you pay for it, and yeah.
Do you know where? I'm sort of just offhandedly. Do you know where Jason is? Without saying anything else to the guy, talking to us.
To the sub guy.
Yeah, just see if he says anything.
What? Wait. So tell me more. How about how you're doing this? Like just like offhandedly. Hey, you know where Jason
Yeah,
is?
basically, like, Fang's asking, pâté de foie gras, whatever the fuck he's asking, I have no idea. And I just sort of go, do you know where Jason is, sort of, like, offhandedly, a little loud?
And like, so wait, Fang, you probably like are just holding like the tray of subs, right? Like, who's carrying the
Fang.
subs?
Fang.
All right, he's
Yeah,
just sort
that's
of
what it's
like
probably
standing there
called.
holding this like platter of subs, and then like you're like looking at Dio as he's harassing this guy because harassing is the only word for anything Dio does, and out of the corner of your eye, you see one of the subs like pulled off the plate, and Jason's just like sitting there about to eat it, or just standing behind you, like about to take a bite, and he's like, what? Was someone looking for me?"
I had the feeling that'll work.
Yeah, and I guess he says, "Well, if you wish to talk, let's go inside and have a seat."
Alright, I follow him inside at least, I don't know about the rest.
Yeah, so I guess he just heads back into the nightclub and sits down at his table.
Alright.
Follow him then. Yeah.
Cool. Let's take a short break, and we'll come back with part 2 of this week's session of Magic Rising. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
In which I will try to set fire to something, don't worry.
Yeah, probably.
So the subs, he wants to grill them.